Greetings. This is Arvette McLean with Speak, The Universe Listens. New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, Rodney.
So I came across this quote, and it said, "The same boiling water that makes an egg hard is the same boiling water that makes a potato soft. Don't let your environment dictate you, dictate your environment." And so it just made me think how a lot of times we feel like our environment is holding us back. I know times in my life where I done said, yeah, I can't do nothing while I'm in this situation, or I can't do nothing while I'm around this. And so just want to discuss that today. Something I thought was, interesting, and something that I feel like I've overcame in my life, thinking about what's outside of me. And so, yeah, I think we could talk about it for the people.
Man, that's something I can definitely relate to. Just being around, being in a environment as to where it's like I'm trying to make progress for myself, and the environment that I'm in it's almost like I'm trying to step through the new door, but the environment I'm in is like a tug of war. It keeps pulling me back. And so I've noticed that I start to observe and not absorb. So in other words, for me, I'm very easily absorbent in my environment. That was one of my weaknesses, but I learned that, like you said, I don't have to be a part, of that environment. I don't have to take that on as mine, per se.
I like this topic a lot because to be honest, I feel like this is something that I don't want to say battling or challenge. Mm-hmm. I've been jumping in and out of the hula hoop recently, in the sense of I've been in places where I feel like, oh man, my environment is just stopping me from, I can't progress and I can't do this, and it's like it feels all combative and things like that. Mm-hmm. And honestly, what I did was I started reaching out to y'all individually, and each of y'all all said the same thing in a different tone, which was kind of like, yeah, well, know that you're more than that. Also, fill yourself with gratitude, and then also love what you're doing today, and then continue that tomorrow. And all three of those pieces of advice really led me to feeling like, okay, it's not my environment at all. It's kind of like my choice in how I want to feel about the environment. So literally just the other day, I walked into what I felt like was my challenge, and then I was like, no, let's just embrace it with like love today. And So I did that, and it felt less challenging, and it didn't feel like I was combating against something. It felt like, no, just be you and stand in your power, and then you'll realize that like your environment is you. And so that's kind of what I love this topic, actually.
Yeah, when I think about my environment now and like what is it, what I don't like about it and things like this, I try not to put it like that. So I try to look at everything as like a part of my story now. And so it's like, that gives me a way to appreciate it. Like, when I look back on this, like, I'm gonna say that was,
Yeah.
And to look at it like everything that's happening around me is how I'm feeling on the inside. Because I can go into work one day and be jolly and feel amazing, and then I can go in the next day and feel like, I ain't trying to be here. So it's like, it's not so much the environment, but more so what I'm feeling inside.
Okay. I notice, for me, it's like with my environment, it's like a love and hate relationship. So the love part about it, I would say, is that it's something for me to learn, which is awesome. The part that I dislike is why. It's like, why? but I like the fact that it challenges me, you know, to remind myself who I am, you know, that I can make a choice. And like I said, it sort of just awakens my awareness on some of the things as to where I'm aware of, but it's sort of sleep, and it just brings it back like, okay, Steve, you don't have to, you know what I'm saying? You know you don't have to move like this, or you know you don't have to feel like this. So it sort of keeps me on my toes on a everyday basis. So that's something I do like about it, but I hate it too. If that makes sense.
And I like what you said about it kind of being like looking at it as a reflection of something that's happening inside of you, and that's kind of what's displayed on your exterior. Because I kind of started taking that approach too, in the sense of like, all right, I would deal with what felt like a challenging situation, and then first I'd be like, man, but like, why everybody just in my way? Like, I just want to do this, and I just want to do that. Why won't people let me be me? And then it was like, well, who's stopping you from being you? And it was like, well, you can't really be nobody, because the person who you want to see is stopping you don't even really know you, so how are they stopping you? And then it was like, well, why are you putting this story out in the first place? It was like, literally, just be you. And that's like, it was, I don't know, I think that knowing that what you see on the outside of you is a reflection of how you're feeling inside is super helpful, because it helps me become it changes my perspective on what I'm seeing on the outside of me. Like, I'm no longer looking at it, judging it, like, why are you in my way? Because I'm seeing you as a part of me. So now it's like, you're not in my way. If anything, you're giving me something that I keep trying to leave behind. So maybe I should pick that up. And so, yeah, I just like that.
Okay. I agree with everything y'all have said. In particular, your environment is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. And that is one of those things that's so hard for people to get, especially when it looks crazy and you're like, what does that have to do with me? Like, I'm not that, or whatever. So like an easy example to give would be like, you know, the experience I had for the whole past year, where I was just feeling trapped, like my freedom was gone. And the more I felt like my freedom was gone, the more my freedom was gone. And so when I finally realized that, okay, I'm feeling trapped and I'm feeling like I don't have any freedom, and just like to really be able to chronicle, like, okay, at first I had this much freedom and I didn't think I had any. Now I have this much, and you know, and just watching it shrink and shrink, and realizing that when I had this much, like, that was good. But at the time it didn't feel so. And so when it's here, I'm like, okay, let me start focusing on the freedom that I do have now. How do I have freedom now? And so with me changing my perspective and realizing that I'm radiating out that I don't have any freedom. So now let's radiate out that I am free. And so just having that change in perspective actually changed the whole situation. So I love when I have like concrete things, and I know we all can come up with a situation where we're like, okay, well, this was happening on the outside of me and I can't see how that, but it does relate to you. If you just keep with it, you can figure it out. But then somebody said, I can't remember right now who said it, but not only can I not remember who said it now, I don't even know what I was going to say. Let's see, what was it? Oh, it was what you said about
Observing.
Don't help me.
Okay, I got it.
You said it helped you step up. All right, now how do I want to go back into that? All right. Yeah, and so also what you were saying about how the situation keeps you remembering or it makes you remember who you really are, basically. Like, that's another thing, like, everything that's happening in your environment, you don't necessarily have to try to figure out, like, why is this happening or whatever. But if you just keep in your mind, it's happening for me. And so if it's happening for you, one thing you can be sure of is that there's a way that you can step up. There's a way that you can move into your higher self. There's a way that you can take this situation and use it as a stepping stone to be more of who you really are.
I think I like what you said too, because it made me think of just a situation as to where I'm going through it financially, right? And all I can see is just from a 3D standpoint. You know, I'm seeing the lack, and I'm seeing the, you know, the foot on the back of my neck, like I'm in a chokehold. Can't do nothing. But then I calm down, and I just get that reminder real quick, like, you know, I'm telling myself, because what I'm saying to myself is, I don't have, you know, I can't do, and then it just makes me more aware of, like, okay, what I'm saying to myself and how I'm viewing my whole situation. So it just elevates me to get out of that mood and just like, you have everything you need. There's nothing that you're lacking, you know. So in that type of environment, like I said, I'm really conscious of, like, okay, when something like that is happening, just having that awareness as to where it's like, you know, I can elevate myself pretty much. And this is just one of many things to show me that, hey, you got a choice and I can make it happen for myself, pretty much.
Yeah. I can relate to what you said. It have been times where I'd have been calculating my lag. Like, I'm gonna have this much lag after this. Like, nah. But
You can calculate what?
the lag. Like, just like calculating being broke.
It's simple.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna be this much broke after this. But yeah, it also too, when you're not feeling the greatest about your environment, it's just remembering the power you have. Like, we have the power to change our environment or anything. We got the environment to change anything that we're seeing. And a lot of the thing that was very key for me is just remembering to love myself and to know that nothing on the outside of me dictates what's going on inside. And if I can keep that self-love inside and can stand in my power, then the outside is going to change just like that.
Somebody that I listen to all the time, they always talk about the particles of infinite creation. And they're like, the particles of infinite creation respond to you. And they're like, you know, you can just like breathe in. When you take your breaths in, you can see yourself as breathing in these particles of infinite creation. And these particles respond to you. So what you're thinking, what you're feeling. And this is a little off task, but I remember I was sitting on a cliff, and I don't know what happened, but it was like all of a sudden I could see those particles of infinite creation. And it was just such a bizarre world experience. And I'm just like, what is this that I'm looking at? And I could just see all these lights, all these little light particles just floating everywhere. And I'm just like, wow, or whatever. Yeah, it was like a really weird experience. But anyway, I like thinking about it like that. Like, these particles is going to respond to however you're thinking, however you're feeling, whatever you're radiating out. And that's what I guess gives us the power of creation, so to speak.
And then I like, in the environment as to where it is nothing but love, you feeling joy, you feeling excitement. When you're in those environments, and let's just say you know, one day out of the week is one of those days as to where it's not your good day, right? You think back, it helps me to just think back on that day as to where my whole day was lovely. I was loving everybody. I didn't have no worries. And so one of many things that helps me when it comes to my environment and how I can change it for myself is just understanding that if it's not so good, just remembering, you know, what it feels like to be in a good environment, so that way I can sort of get myself in that mental space for myself. And if I'm in a good environment, I know what it's like not to be in the, you know, I know what that space feels like. So that's something that sort of helps me get in alignment.
I know a time in my life too where I would feel like I can't be all the way 100% like worry free and free unless I was like out of town on vacation or something. And I'm like, yeah, I just can't, I don't have that feeling at home. And I would like, I can't wait till the next time I can go somewhere so I can feel free and have that feeling.
Yeah.
And I just had to learn to get that same feeling at home. Learn to that I can get that feeling anywhere I'm at, anytime that I want it.
And then think about what you said, man. I've been in environments as to where I can be like, I'm very aware, you know, everything is okay mentally wise, but you get constant reminders of what's going on around you, right? And it's like it just pulling you and pulling you and pulling you, and you're like, good God, you know, you're like, take it easy. But when those moments happen, I just sort of I think back on something our vet said before, like, you know, it's only temporary, and then on the other side of that, you ain't got to worry about that no more, you know. So everything, like if your environment is not the best of the best, you know that it's only temporary. That's not a permanent state of being. So
see, I find those moments interesting too, because like those moments where I feel like everything just hitting you back, forth.
right.
Like I found myself after a certain amount of things hit me, I stop and I go, all right, like, this is a lot. Like this is a lot. But then I also go, all right, but like this is my choice at this point too. Like there's no way all of this is coming at me and it's not me. So like I can choose to feel differently about it. And so like I know like those are moments where I think I subconsciously choose to feel better too. Because like I'll never forget, like there'll be moments where I'm like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Everything just stacking. And I will literally like, that's when I just let go. I'm like, all right, yo, I ain't got nothing for it. Like, let's see what happened. And then it always works out fine. And I think that that's my higher self saying like, yeah, thank you. Let me do this now. Like, and so like when I do that, it's like literally all of it outside of me comes back into me. It's like, like I like it. Like no, I don't like it. I don't like it when a lot of times things happen. But I do now understand that, like, all right, if a lot of challenges come to me at one time, this is my moment where I should probably try and get a little quieter and, like, just stop trying to figure out how or why. Like, let go. And then, yeah, let go.
Just let go.
I think that's so key what you just said about getting quiet. I always remember this quote, but I don't remember who said it. I think Buddha or somebody said it, but they're like, you should meditate at least 10 minutes every day, unless you're too busy, in which case you should meditate for an hour every day. But yeah, it's so important to like when things get like that, to remember to take that time back and just be quiet. Like you don't have to try to figure out what to do. What to do is just get quiet and like you were saying, the thing will be like, I got you, I got this. Why are you trying to
intervene
or whatever? And but to me, like the whole key, the whole point, really of everything we are even talking about, is that we start connecting more clearly to our higher self. The more we become similar, the more similar we become to our higher self, the easier, the more beautiful life will be.
I think that was a great way to wrap up.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That was a good time.
I like that, man.
And thank you guys for joining us. And we hope you enjoy the topic too, and that it'll give you some things to think about. And we look forward to chatting with you again next week. Until then, this is Arvette.
And this is Steve.
It's all right.
Right.